live, you are live.
Good morning and welcome to the Sunrise Safari, our live safaris that we bring you every day, twice a day, here on Djuma, Arathusa and Cheetah Plains game reserves in the Sabi Sands in the Greater Kruger National Park of South Africa. We're currently heading up Vuyatela main access in order to get to Sydney's Dam to see if those lions are still about and on their buffalo kill. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, my name is Jamie, and this morning I have Dave on camera with me on this brisk, cold morning out here in the game reserve in the Lowveld. Brent is out with Jeandre on the other vehicle, and Dave, you might be slightly offended. I'm sorry I didn't provide you with a hot water bottle. Brent gave one to Jeandre, but there wasn't an extra one going around. Oh yes, that's true. Dave has got the most fantastic pair of earmuffs on that he found in his room. They're a fluffy grey colour. They could only be more ridiculous if they were bright pink. It is cold this morning. It is 11 degrees centigrade, so 51 Fahrenheit. We're not even right sort of smack bang in the middle of winter, but already we're starting to feel the winter's chill. The days are getting short, which also means that we will be changing our times from the 1st of June. The morning safari, the sunrise safari, will be shifting to half an hour later, which means that for Eastern time, it will be from 12:30 at night to 3:30 in the morning. Be for all of you night owls out there in the States. And then on the other side of the States, it will be at 9:30 at night to 12:30 at night. There you go. Don't forget, from the 1st of June, we will be shifting half an hour later. Might give us half an hour extra warmth. We shall see how it goes. Oh, some interesting things happening with the lion dynamics at the moment. The Nkuhumas have killed a buffalo, and it seems, it's confirmed now, the Nkuhumas have killed a buffalo up on Sydney's Dam. However, the kicker comes in the sudden arrival of Junior back on the scene. We've been waiting for this moment for him to reappear. We know that he's been wandering about, keeping himself relatively, what would be the word? Well, at least out of harm's way. However, Junior has made a very bad decision in returning to the females, and who knows how last night played out. It is the one way, it's one of the big ways that a young male lion can draw attention to himself, is by associating with females. And the Birmingham boys, who control this part of the territory, the male coalition of 4 males, are not going to be very impressed with the return of the Nkuhuma male. And if that sounds like some kind of strange language to those of you who are new to the show, Junior was a cub of the Nkuhumas, and he left the pride, as all male lions do, at around 3 years old. He sort of came and went and disappeared towards the end of last year, wandered about the Kruger, down to Mala Mala, up to Simbambili, so all surrounding our area, and now he's gone back to his mother and his sisters and his aunts. Definitely not the best idea he's ever had. And we've got to keep our fingers crossed, unfortunately for him, that he must actually go again. He must disappear again, because this has not been his smartest move. Unfortunately for us, the buffalo kill was a little bit outside of our traverse area, so whilst the lions were visible from our side of the boundary, we cannot go everywhere within this great 4 million hectare piece of property. We're limited to where we can go, so we had to watch sort of from the other side of the dam. What that means is that we don't know how big that buffalo carcass actually was. We know that the hyenas were hanging about. It remains to be seen if those lions are still there, or if they have decided to move off and leave the rest to the hyenas. And if they have, we'll see if we can work out where they've gone. But if they have and they've moved outside of our Traverse area, then I really think that it is time to break this leopard drought that I've been experiencing. It's time to find a leopard. We tried especially hard yesterday, not that we don't always try very hard. But we searched and searched for Tingana, the big male leopard of this area. And James Richards tells us that today is the 1 month anniversary since we last saw Tingana. That is ridiculous. We need to rectify that. I think there's a reason for that. I think that he has been patrolling the outskirts of his territory more and more, with Djuma hanging about the northern part of his territory, and with other young males being present, with Kanyuma sort of maybe not necessarily wandering into Tingana's territory, but certainly passing through it. Perhaps he feels threatened in that way. But he came through yesterday. We know that his tracks came onto the property. We just couldn't figure out exactly where he went. Oh, 1 month since we last saw Tingana. I think that we need to remedy that. Not like Tingana to disappear for extended periods of time. Hello Lloyd, and welcome to the Sunrise Safari. Lloyd is a new viewer and is a little bit concerned about our safety in terms of a lion or a tiger attack. Well Lloyd, I'm fairly certain I'm safe from a tiger attack. We should be just fine, since this is not an area where you will find tigers. We're right at the top northeastern corner of South Africa. There are no tigers here, but we do have lions and we do have leopards. However, rest assured that the only thing that this open car is exposing us to is the rather chilly morning and the wind chill factor as we drive along. I can guarantee we are absolutely safe. We are also, of course, all of us have been doing this job for several years, so we're very experienced in terms of watching and keeping an eye on animal behavior. So whilst these animals have all grown up with open top vehicles around them, they don't view us as food in any way. It's still important that we never become blasé about it. You'll find that we continually assess every situation whenever we go and view an animal. And it is exceptionally rare for an animal to attack an open safari vehicle. It's basically unheard of, and it's almost always when there is something wrong with that animal for some reason, whether they be injured or ill or old or something along those lines. However, I'm not the only one out here, heading out to see if we can find the lions. Brent is also out with Jean-Andre, and he would like to say good morning to you all.
Good morning and welcome to Safari Live. My name is Brent Leo Smith. I have Jean-Andre heading on camera, and we're in search of Queen Karula, the dominant female leopard on Djuma. It is bitterly cold. It is 11 degrees Celsius, 51 Fahrenheit, and I think it's our coldest morning so far. But we can suffer the cold if we find the cats. So that's what we're trying to do. And this area is an area we see Karula in quite often, so we're just looking for some tracks in this early morning. You can see the light in the east starting to show. So hopefully we're going to have some luck on this Sunday early morning. Most people are having a sleep in. We're out in search of lions and leopards. I wouldn't want it any other way. So we're busy traversing the southern side of Djuma Private Game Reserve in hopes of seeing some leopard tracks. And if you happen to have just stumbled upon us, we're in the Greater Kruger National Park in northeastern South Africa. We're part of a 13 million acre open system. It is just for the wild animals, and we're hoping to show you a few of those this morning.
Good morning, mobile stations. Any updates for this morning?
So, one second, let me just turn that down. Good morning, Deborah, the armchair traveller. Deborah would like to know if anyone's seen Tundi. Tundi is another female leopard. She holds territory to the east of us here, and she was mating with the dominant male Tingana recently. And Debbie would like to know if there's been any sign of her showing pregnancy. Was the mating successful? I'm afraid I haven't seen her. She's been seen a bit around Cheetah, but no, I haven't heard anything saying that she is showing signs of being pregnant. It's possible, but one must remember they don't always conceive after every mating, so only time will tell, Deborah. Oh, little Steenbok dashed across the road, but Jamie's got two carnivores to show you in one spot.
Two carnivores, but not the sort we thought, and in fact it's actually not two carnivores, there are three. There are two hyenas here munching on some scraps, one calling off in the distance. I'm just going to be quiet so you can hear that. And then, sorry, I have to redirect your attention. Just have a look here, off to the left. Look who's come to join. A side-striped jackal, tentatively approaching the hyenas. It wants to grab a snack, and in typical jackal fashion, hanging around the outskirts, just waiting for that briefest lapse in attention before it dashes forward to grab whatever it can. Okay, so it was a young buffalo. That definitely helps us out. Oh, standoff. Ah, I love scenes like this. Jackals are just so gutsy in terms of their approach to scavenging. Having a look around where they were feeding. Yep, I'm just going to sit here, don't mind me. I'm just going to sit and wait. Oh, actually, that was getting a bit scary. Establishing a little bit of a safer distance. This is so wonderful. We don't often get to see jackals scavenging here. We don't actually have that many jackals. There's been something of a population drop, as far as I can tell. But Sydney's Dam definitely greeting us with some interesting play out between different scavenging species. Where are you going, jackal? I'm going to try from a different angle this time. Basically the South African equivalent of a fox. He's filling essentially the same ecological niche. There's more hyenas calling off to the west. And there you go. It's not often that we get a sort of a scale. I'm going to take the light off now. I don't think we need it anymore. But many of you commenting on the difference in size between the jackal and the hyena. And yes, I mean, a jackal is, as I said, essentially the same size as a fox. Whereas a hyena, big solid hyena, anywhere from 60 to 90 kilograms, 120 to close to 190 pounds in weight. They are large animals. They're big, stocky animals. And the jackal much more suited to patiently waiting its turn. Clever little opportunists, either scavenging from carcasses like this, or eating berries, little rodents, arthropods, whatever they can find. And the side-striped jackal knows just how to play this situation. Oh, big yawn. Now I've been witness once to a scene where the matriarch of a hyena clan, not here, We're in another place that I used to work, where she'd brought back half an impala for her young cubs. Her cubs were actually too young to eat meat at that point. It was just to sort of get them interested in the whole idea of what they'll be doing for the rest of their lives. And during that time, a jackal actually entered the scene at the hyena den and displayed great courage in terms of creeping forward right next to her cubs and snapping up bits of impala as he went along. The matriarch just kind of half growled at him. And since this is the time of the scavengers, the hyenas are not going to go out of their way to try and chase that jackal away. He's smaller, or she is smaller, faster, and just generally more agile. Is that typical upright posture? A true member of the canid family. Now, unlike the hyena, it doesn't really have the jaw strength to crush into bones, as Dina was wondering whether or not the jackal can eat bones like a hyena. Not really. They're kind of like toothpicks. They might be able to crush the smaller bones, but in a buffalo carcass like that, that would be exceptionally limited, and the chances are that the lions would already have crushed the softer, smaller pieces of bone. The jackal might chew on them a bit, maybe crack off a little bit around the edges, but other than that, he's not going to be crunching through the bones. He'll be looking for bits of skin, maybe just a little bit of meat every now and again. Hello. Now, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, to get to see a jackal like this is actually really special. As I said, they are quite rare out here at the moment, which is not something I ever thought I'd be saying. I've always lived in places where it's just teeming with jackal, but apparently they do go through these population dips. Shame, he's actually a little bit cold. Yeah, maybe there's something there. Have a bit of a sniff around. Take your chances. Another brave advance. We've got, I'm not sure which hyena we've got here. Obviously we're quite far away, just trying to figure it out. It doesn't look like we have, it looks like we've got one of the just sub-adults, or almost adults at this point, scavenging off the carcass. Either way, it is most definitely not either of the three main high-ranking females that we are so familiar with, which is interesting. I wonder if they've already eaten their fill, or if these hyena just got lucky. Somehow I don't think they just got lucky. I think that that entire clan would have had to spend time chasing the lions off that kill. Oh, jackal, don't go away. I think the jackal just got bored there. Decided to have a little bit of a trot around in a circle, warm up a bit, and then it will be back. Maybe even though returning to the original site of the kill in the hope that there might be some scraps there. And good morning to Janet in Ontario, who has been doing some reading on jackals and read that they're quite fussy eaters and that they'll take certain organs and leave the others. In my experience, I've never seen jackal scavenging off really rotten carcasses. Oh, there he goes. He's actually trotting right away, seeking up other opportunities for now. He'll be back. He or she will be back. Janet? Absolutely. Like all of the scavenging animals, or even the general predators, they have preferences for certain organs. So if they can, the liver, the kidney, the heart, the lungs, those are all really, really nutrient-rich parts of the animal. They'll try and get to those first, but obviously in an opportunity like this, they're going to have to take what they can get. So I've seen jackal eat pieces of, or gnaw on pieces of skin, gnaw on bits of bone, meat. I've never seen them being too fussy. I said that they're opportunists, and they really are. They'll eat fruit, they will eat bits of meat. They really are just general, almost omnivores in their dietary sort of requirements, if I could put it that way. So whilst I've never seen one feed off an old carcass, I wouldn't dismiss the possibility. The hyenas have sort of half looked up every now and again, not terribly interested in what that jackal was doing. Sandy, you were wondering if the hyenas would kill the jackal. Yes, potentially, if they could catch him. It is actually really unlikely. So these sorts of scenes with hyena and jackal play out pretty much every single day out here in the African bush. Usually the hyenas can't be bothered to chase after a jackal. You will get rare situations. The same goes for lions and leopards. You will get rare situations where the jackal has pushed the boundaries a little bit too much. Sometimes, particularly with grumpy male lions, where they actually react and manage to catch them. And that's only where the jackal has got cocky, essentially. Really just over-pushed the boundaries and tried to get too close too soon, instead of patiently waiting their turn. So it's not... Hyena was looking up there for a second at the flock of hardy-dars. I did just see another hyena, but I can't work out exactly where it's gone. Oh, hardy-dars have changed their mind. They are coming back. All has become quite peaceful here. Brent has found you one of the biggest animals that you could see in the African bush.
So, unfortunately, no leopard yet, but we do have some elephant bulls. And they're busy dismembering a poor little bush willow at the moment. And there's some more to our right we can't see yet. There's the one we're looking at. There's another slightly younger one to his left. And quickly back to Jamie.
I've never seen a jackal here.
Look at what we've got. We've now got the second species of jackal that we get out here. At first I sort of dismissed it as the side-striped jackal returning. However, that is absolutely not the case. We now have a black-backed jackal who has decided to chance his luck. Let's see, he's going to pop out any moment now, hopefully, behind the bushes. Yes, no? Where did you go? There we go. Here he comes. Straight up to the hyenas. Again, displaying that boldness. Right behind them. There you can actually really see where the name black-backed comes from. They've almost got like a saddle on their backs. Totally different from the almost solid grey-like colour of a side-striped jackal. And the tail's different as well. Oh, ooh, ooh, that was brave. A little bit too confident there. We've got a play out between two of the most adaptable and cunning of the scavenger species. All watched over, actually. We're going to tear our eyes away from the jackal ever so quickly. We'll come back to it in a moment, because I know that you don't often get to see them. Oh, it's gone. There was a hyena over there. It was one of the big females, but she's moved off. Sorry. All right, let's go back to our jackal then. Let's not take our eyes off it for too long. I promise you there was a hyena standing there. And she'd been standing there like a statue for the last sort of 2 minutes. But then, live wildlife filming, if you take your eye off them for 2 seconds, you never know what's going to happen. Now, Laura, you were wondering about, because they really do have a very dog-like quality to them. You're wondering whether a jackal has ever been domesticated. Yes, I've heard of a few people having pet jackals, particularly in farms. Most of the time, unfortunately, jackal are treated very much like vermin in South Africa. Not here. We're very fortunate here in that we are in an entirely protected area, and every single species has the right to be protected and is left unmolested. But you do get people who've kept jackal as pets. Obviously, with that risk, you have to be well house trained, I suppose. And most of you know my feelings on keeping wild animals as pets. Jackal, whilst they can be kept, you'll never truly get rid of that wild instinct in them. Just like those people who have tamed foxes, there's always that chance that something could go wrong. Personally, I feel as though we've got enough domestic pets to keep ourselves occupied and have company. We don't need to add wild animals to the list. It's relatively rare that they're kept as sort of rodent control and so on around farms. Most of the time, unfortunately, farmers are not terribly happy to see jackal. Off he goes. We've had now the 2 species of jackal come through, and Dara in Ohio, you were wondering whether or not the side-striped and the black-backed get along. Pretty much. They don't breed with each other. They are 2 entirely separate species, and that, of course, being the definition of a species, being able to breed with each other, members of the same species, and produce viable offspring. So black-backed jackal and side-striped jackal in a natural environment will never interbreed, but they don't get on all that badly. They fill almost exactly the same ecological niche. The side-stripe is slightly bigger. It might take a more dominant role, but we could easily, in that situation, we could easily have had both species together hanging around that kill with relatively little antagonism towards each other. However, both of them have decided that they are not going to have a chance with these hyena. The hyenas haven't so much fed on this bit of carcass, they just sort of dragged it around. And that's where those big drag marks that we sometimes see in the road come from, actions like this. Where are you going with that? Away, just away to where I can nibble on it all by myself. And just to finish off our chat about the difference between a side-striped and a black-backed jackal, we have a question about whether or not anybody can tell the difference between their tracks, or if there is a difference in their tracks. And Virginia and Kentucky, you were wondering about that. Oh, yum. That looks like a very appealing breakfast. Virginia, not that I can tell the difference between. There are those who can. The side-striped is slightly bigger. There's a slight difference in what is known in tracking circles as negative space, the gap between the toes and the back pad. I cannot, for the life of me, tell the difference, and I don't begin to claim to. They're very, very similar. Pretty much identical, just an ever so slight difference. Now, Renius could probably tell the difference. I can't. Renius being the gentleman that was brought in to help us learn a bit more about tracking. He runs a tracking school at Londolozi. Not much left of that carcass. I mean, that's mostly skin and the legs of the buffalo. Very little meat around there. The skin's also very tough, very difficult to chew around. Now, although it looks like a big piece of carcass, there's actually very little meat left on it. However, this hyena doesn't look like it's suffering. It looks like it's had a good meal last night. And really, this is just pecking at the end of a meal. In both instances, with our jackal, as our hyenas continue to feast, in both instances we saw those 2 jackal on their own But Lady Luga, you were wondering which species travels on their own. The answer is both of them to an extent. There isn't a massive difference in terms of the social structure of the backpack and the side-striped jackal. Both of them mate for life and are monogamous. And obviously, when I say they mate for life, that is entirely dependent on their survival and avoidance of other predators. But they'll mate for life and they'll live in little family groups, but they'll often move about and forage and scavenge on their own. But in places where they have their den sites or their burrows that they keep their pups, you'll see them together in the little family groups. It'll be a male and a female. They're grown offspring at times, or semi-grown offspring, and then the newest set of pups. Now, that is something that I would absolutely love to show you on these live safaris, is a jackal pup. It has got to be one of the cutest little... I mean, any baby animal is cute. Even baby crocodiles are cute. But jackal pups are like little fuzzy creatures. And Rachel, you were wondering on the subject while we watched this hyena drag the carcass away, again, basically playing keep away from the other. You're wondering about how many jackal pups a jackal has. Between 2 to 4 is the average. They can have up to 6, but 2 to 4 would be the average. Not enormous pups, not like the other member of the dog family, the wild dog, where the female is capable of having up to 20 pups in one litter. The jackal, slightly smaller and slightly more limited. The reason, of course, that a wild dog can afford to have so many babies, or has evolved to have so many babies, is that she's got an entire pack to help care for them. Whereas the jackal only have their partner and sometimes their offspring from the previous litter to help them out. And a very warm welcome to Dave. I don't know, I'm actually going to speak to Dave, the cameraman, now first. Aren't you glad we found a static sighting?
Oh, fantastic.
We haven't had to drive anywhere in the cold. I've just thought about that. But good morning to Dave, the viewer. And Dave, the viewer, would like to know, is we've been watching this hyena kind of lift and drag this carcass around and around. You're wondering what's the furthest distance that I've ever heard of or seen any predator drag a carcass. Well, hyenas definitely hold down that record. Even a leopard will only drag a carcass as far as they need to in order to get it to a nice big tree or a nice safe spot to feed on. Whereas spotted hyena, in limited instances, will drag food right back to the den, regardless of how far they are away. I have tracked, personally, I've tracked drag marks that extend easily 5 to 8 kilometers in length. That's exceptionally far. I mean, that's the exception rather than the rule. But an average of 2 to 3 kilometers is pretty simple for a powerful animal like a hyena. That is about as far as I've ever heard them dragging it. I've never heard of them dragging it any further, but I suspect that they do. I have read books that suggest that hyenas could drag a carcass up to 10, 20 kilometers. Now that's in this area, Dave. Of course, if you go back to, if you sort of have a look at the research into hyenas around Eastern Africa, Tanzania, or let's say Zimbabwe or Botswana. Oh, what was that all about? Oh, vulture. Oh, that's awesome. How cool is that? A hooded vulture just came in to chance his luck, met with much more resistance than the jackals were, and this could be absolutely awesome because enough vultures are capable of standing up and challenging a group of hyena. Two young and inexperienced hyena there, faced with scavengers now on both sides of them. Now, I wonder if that jackal's not going to come back now that the odds are being slowly tipped against the hyenas. The hyenas, of course, are bigger and stronger than all of the other scavengers here, But if they're outnumbered and kept distracted, then they're going to struggle to keep track of what's going on around them. Here you go, there's the hooded vulture. And if they don't stick close to their kill, somebody's going to manage to pinch a piece. Dave, sorry, I was in the process of answering your question before I got distracted by the hooded vulture. All I wanted to say was in places where the distribution of hyenas is sort of much less concentrated, if they've got much wider spaces. I've read stories in Kenya and Tanzania of female hyenas with cubs having to travel enormous distances to get to a kill and then return back to the den site day after day. And when the cubs are old enough, there's a chance they're going to start dragging carcasses up to 20 or more kilometers back towards the den site. But it'll only be a little piece of it. It won't be the whole carcass. These are young hyenas. You can tell just in the way they've responded to this. So an experienced female or experienced male would just sit tight right at the carcass itself and not concern themselves with the actions of the thieves hanging around the outskirts. And these hyenas want to chase them away. Oh, there's another one incoming. There's another two incoming. Oh no, there's vultures coming. Oh, hyenas, you're going to have your work cut out for you now. It's just got warm enough. The vultures settling off in the dead trees to wait. Now, as the white-backed vultures have arrived as well, hyena really do have their work cut out for them, and they've decided, oh no, don't go all the way over there. That's interesting. That's very clever. I wonder if that hyena's not going to drag the carcass to the car in the hope that the vehicle will deter the vultures. Possible. Oh. Let's see where they're going to go. I think that's exactly what he's done. I think they've dropped it close to behind that vehicle. Oh, he's going right into the thick bushes. Maybe not so inexperienced. Unfortunately, that hyena has just taken the kill right away from where we can see them. So behind that thick clump of guarri bushes, in the hope of deterring the scavenging vultures. However, they have been spotted. Oh! Dive bombed by vultures now. Oh, turn the tables. Now they've got their work cut out for them. It's just that this is our best position for now, unfortunately, but we might be able to watch some of the action happening. The vultures smell blood, metaphorically. They've realized that these young hyenas don't fully know what they're doing. They're outnumbered. And it's in fact the hooded vultures that are causing most of the fuss. I think they've been seen off for now, but it is only a matter of time before the vulture numbers, well, first of all, until it heats up sufficiently that the vultures have enough warmth and energy to be able to start to arrive in numbers, and then they will chase those 2 hyena away unless more reinforcements arrive. Now it's interesting to see the 2 of them feeding on the scraps, and that brings us back to Sean's question. Shivering my way through the morning. Sean was wondering, because the hyenas in a hyena clan, the highest ranking hyenas will always eat first. And Sean was wondering, does that mean that some of the others sort of might go hungry since they haven't managed to eat their fill? Sometimes, if the carcass is too small and the dominant females are there, they will eat their fill first to the point of bursting, and then the other hyenas will be allowed to come in. Generally, although the higher ranking females do get the best feeding rights and the best position, they will tolerate other hyenas coming in to nibble around once they've eaten a little bit. So they're not completely exclusive. You know, they won't exclude all of the hyenas completely the entire time. Just initially in the beginning, they'll show quite a great deal of aggression. Oh, it's such a pity that hyena dragged that carcass that way and not this way, because unfortunately they have gone completely out of our view now. I can't see them anywhere. If I were them, I guess that's what I would have done too. I guess I would have dragged the carcass out of harm's way. Let's just have a look at these vultures here, since we have got a beautiful scene in this morning light. Now, I had a giggle earlier, and unfortunately it was out of where Dave could show it to you. I said that it was cold and that the vultures are struggling. Now, when these 2 vultures descended to this dead tree, these 2 white-backed vultures, there was actually a third. However, the third completely missed its landing, tried to land on a branch that was too thin, and promptly dropped out of the tree and sort of disappeared out of view. So there was a third. I'm having a giggle because it's absolutely fine, just by the way. I know where it is. It's moved off to a tree a little bit further away, but perhaps not entirely with its dignity intact. And just like the jackals, the vultures playing a waiting game, a game of patience. And I think that ends our scene of the different scavengers of Djuma. In the meantime, on this chilly morning, Brent has got a surprise animal outside of its natural environment.
So there we go. Big hippo bull. See him defecating, wagging his tail against that buffalo thorn. Look at the steam coming off him. Now, I've noticed this quite a bit with this particular bull. He's leaving the Buffelshoek waterhole, and he goes and sleeps in the drainage system, or little creek system, behind the dam. Now, he's a particularly grumpy individual, so we're not going to go any closer to him. He'll probably move back into the water at some point during the day when it's a bit warmer. And off he goes. Well, anyway, nice to see a hippo out of the water, and you can see what massive animals they actually are. So, we don't have too many hippos in this area. We are quite far from the river. So, always nice to catch one, and we catch one out of the water. So we're around the Buffelshoek waterhole. We unfortunately had no luck with any sign of tracks around the southern area, so we're in the sort of northeast at the moment, zigzagging our way through the bush. Oh, morning guys, they're looking quite sprightly this morning. Crested francolin. Now, there's certain members of our staff who are not the best morning people, and every now and then we do get a morning off, And one particular person really complains about the Franklins and the Babblers, and that is Geraldine. The Franklins generally wake up at about 5:15. They first start calling sometimes. Oh.
Morning, folks. Just drove here at the junction of the Cheetah main exit. I'm going to check standing page towards the pilot plane.
So I just got a report from Aubrey, who's Djuma's guide out of Gallagher, that he heard some kudu alarm calling, actually right in that area we were earlier this morning. So we are going to start slowly moving our way back there.
No more calling.
Sorry, I need to listen.
Confirm what? Roll.
Okay, so it sounds like it's Zoe's Road at the junction with Philemon's cut line. So that's probably about 900 meters from where we started off this morning. So a little bit further to the west. So we are going to slowly meander back in that direction. It sounds like you've been having an absolutely phenomenal time with Jamie and 3 different predators at one sighting: black-backed jackal, side-striped jackal, and hyena. That's incredible. I'm quite jealous. And being able to sit still in the cold. Jeandre and I, of course, have been marching on.
There's only some of PC stuff to kill now on the city dam. Okay, tell me the PC.
Okay. So this is the area where we lost that male leopard's tracks yesterday. I'm wondering if he didn't do a strange maneuver. Now, I do apologize, we might get a little bit of signal breakup down in this dip, but I just want to check for tracks very quickly. Okay. Yeah.
Oopsie daisy, it seems as though Brent's signal just couldn't quite handle that trip through the dip. I was on my way to the hyena den just to kind of get an idea as to what was happening there, finish off and round off our story quite nicely. However, I've just heard reports on the Game Drive channel that the hyena den is not active. In other words, the little ones are all safely tucked away in bed, and the moms are out, quite possibly just on the other side of the dam, if I had to guess, probably sleeping off some very round bellies after an enormous meal. That's where the hyenas, I suspect, might be. And so we're going to start heading east into the rising sun and across towards Cheetah Plains. There we go. Sorry guys, I'm just listening to the Game Drive channel. It seems as though my quest towards Cheetah Plains may well be a good plan, because they've just found a leopard in the drainage line around the lodge of Cheetah Plains. So that's where we'll be heading. Fingers crossed, everyone, that we have signal there and that we'll be able to see her. And I think that we're going to head across in that direction. Yay, it's very exciting times. Mike, I copied your message. I'm also interested. Mike, sorry, can you just reconfirm the lock of that sighting? Copy that, thank you. I'm on Buffelshoek cut line now, so I'm still far, but I'll switch to Eastern Channel when I get a bit closer. Yay! We've got a place for that sighting. Admittedly, we've got a place to number 3 to wait for that sighting, but that's okay because we're still quite a significant difference away. So Dave, we're gone from sitting still in the rising sun, and now we've got to race across, shivering our way every step of the way. And leopard makes it worth it, as Brent said. It can handle the cold if you've got the cats to make up for it. So we're not going to race there. We're going to try and strike a balance between racing and not having to wait around. Where's that Dacre gone? Just saw it dive in through here. Nope. He's disappeared. Just some distant impala. I wonder which leopard it is. I don't know. It sounded like Mike said it was a she, so it could be in Kanyeni, it could be Tandi in that area. It could be either of those leopards. We will just have to wait until we get there to find out. And I haven't seen in Kanyeni, so I'm very excited. I've heard so many stories. Dave, of course, has seen her. Oh, every time we go down into a dip, it drops by about 5 degrees. Then you start to warm up as you go up the slopes. I'm also checking very carefully along this road for the lion tracks because we don't know where those lions have gone. So far they haven't popped out onto this road. I suspect that they may have gone further into Manyeleti, so to the north of where we last saw them, away from our traverse area. And then we know the Nkuhumas very often move into Manyeleti itself, around that top northwestern corner. Or there's a chance that they've headed west into a property called Simbambili. I spoke this morning a bit about the lion dynamics and the fact that they are changing so much. We were discussing it with Tristan and Doug yesterday, or last night. Brent and I were highly social. We had friends over, and we promptly both fell asleep on the couch trying to chat to them. So, you know, we did really well there on our crazy wild Saturday night. But before we fell asleep, we were chatting a little bit about the lion dynamics and the changes that are happening here, and the fact that the Matimbas have been mysteriously entering Simbambili out of nowhere and then walking all the way back south in a morning, back towards Londolozi. Now, the Matimba males were the coalition that were dominant in this area before the Birmingham boys kicked them out. I don't quite know what it is that has prompted this shift in dynamics. Alright, something's telling me to stop. Something in the back of my mind spotted something. Ah, that's what I've seen. There's lion tracks in the road. It'll be tricky for me to show them to you, but I'm going to try. But I'm not going to stop for too long. You see them right in the middle there, Dave.
Yep.
So, immediately my mind went to lion, just judging by the size. Perfect, thank you, Dave. I'm not going to jump out of the car and show you them in great detail, just because I do want to keep moving. We've got at least one female walking down this road. It looks as though there's more than one, though, because if we check a little bit further to the left, unfortunately underneath car tracks, there are more. So the prides walk down here. I'm trying to see carefully if there's a male track. These are female tracks. I don't see any male tracks. All right. So this is where the lions went last night. Whether or not Junior is with them is a different question. We're going to call these in, we're going to follow up while we can, and we're going to head to Cheetah Plains all in one, and I'm going to send you back to Brent.
Welcome back. We've crossed the Mwati River and are now heading into that area where the kudu alarm calls were heard. And Jamie's on her way down to Cheetah Plains. So, exciting morning. I love this. When there's alarm calls about, that means there's cats about.
Going east on the cut line, Johnson, the Yellow shortcut and Normal Road.
So we're going to go check back towards the treehouse waterhole in case whatever was there starts coming to the east. And it's still really chilly.
Sorry, we actually closed the Gary Cut Junction. Closed the Gary Cut Line.
I'll just check with Aubrey where he'd like me to check. Aubrey. We might be off the vehicle on foot tracking. So what we're going to do is we're going to head along through here, sort of to the northern side of this little river system that comes from the treehouse waterhole. So we've already checked the southern side earlier this morning, but we didn't check the northern side, so fingers crossed that north is our lucky direction today. So we're going to go really slowly now, just check very, very carefully. And this is just gorgeous. There's a little bit of mist around. The light is probably going to burn it off quite quickly as the sun gets higher over the horizon and warm us up a little bit. So as we were talking, leopards really like sort of little dry creek beds or river beds.
Great, Jamie.
Nice trees around. Standing by.
Yeah, right on Sandy Patch, just south of the power line there. The track mark on the trailer there. We learned that this track mark. There's a mother that's been found by Ingrid, looks like last night. But just eaten a little bit at the back. Yeah, no sign of that Ingrid. Looks like she just eaten it last night. She didn't come back here, but there's still a Mingi Yama here.
Sorry guys. Copy tax, is that Pezul Insignia?
Negative, just on the ground.
Maybe she went to fetch my Bimban.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, very interesting news there. So Taxon's found an impala that's been killed by a leopard, but it's been fed on very little and then abandoned.
Great.
Maybe not abandoned.
Through the last tracks for Tigana yesterday.
1 second, sorry. Jamie, they were in the block between Buffelshoek and Hyena Road.
Copy. There's a couple of four Medora Ingwe going west on Buffelshoek cut line and then cutting south into the Mwati around Gary cut line.
Copy, thanks. So, male leopard tracks, female leopard tracks, dead impala, but no leopard. I think we're going to go try have a look at that carcass,
Oh, yeah.
see what's happening there.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're on south of the bar line towards the color plane, but just a mile and more south of the
Morning, Kyle. Kyle says, well, since Tingana hasn't been around Djuma that often recently, wouldn't this make it prime opportunity for another male to come in? Well, he has, Kyle. He's been on Djuma a lot, except he just seems to walk through overnight. So just in between the live safaris, he cruises through, particularly on the northern side of the property. He came in through the south last time, so he has been there. So I don't think there's any real chance of another male trying to take over his core part territory on Djuma just yet. So very interesting. So where Taxon's found that impala kill, it could be very easily Karula. It could also very easily be Shadow in that area. It'll be very fascinating to see if either of them bring their cubs back to their kill. It's possible they might have left the kill, eaten a little bit, left the kill, and returned to go fetch the cubs. So, fingers crossed. So I'm going to go check back towards Philemon's cut line and up towards Zori's road. Now, the kill hasn't been hoisted, which is a bit of a problem, but looks like the hyenas are preoccupied with that buffalo carcass, so they're not going to get hold of that impala just yet.
Jamie, I've just tried to fit 2 vehicles in here myself and Andres. It looks like it's a big squeeze. The second vehicle won't be able to see me, so I decided to make 1 vehicle at a time. I've moved out for Andres, so yeah, maybe contact Andres when you're in the east, and he'll make some space for you.
Okay.
Copy that, thanks, Mike. There's a couple for some of you guys across the north, which is what we'll put around Barry Cutline and see the tracks coming out.
Okay. So there we go, just a little update from Jamie. Those lion tracks she was looking at have gone north into Buffalo's Hook, and the only lion track we had this morning went east into Torchwood. So, but it does look like there's some leopards around, so fingers crossed. So this is the area where Aubrey said he heard those kudu alarming, and the kill's over there. So maybe it's the leopard heading back to fetch the little ones. So, morning, Bud, in North Carolina. Bud's asking an interesting question, saying which animals take an active role in raising and protecting their offspring? Well, you can't look at it from a human point of view, because it's a very different thing. So even though male leopards have very little to do with the cubs, their active part in raising and protecting the offspring is protecting their territory from other male leopards, because another male leopard would immediately come in and kill those cubs, and to make sure the female comes into estrus again. Oh, there's Orbs. I'm just going to say good morning, Bud. I will carry on with your question in a second. Oh, hey. Any luck?
Yeah, due to...
Maybe I found to fetch my pimpan.
Yeah,
Did you hear a taxi got Nyama that side?
yeah, but you say Buga does not just hide for us, it doesn't like to tell us.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yo.
It
Paisan.
doesn't catch anything. It's
Yeah.
nothing.
Okay. I'm going to keep checking this area, but I think maybe she went south to fetch my pimpan.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going to go check the boundary.
Right.
Okay. Cheers, Orbs. Bye, guys. Enjoy. Don't look so cold. The sun's coming. Yeah, there's some very cold people on that back of that vehicle. Blankets up to here. Okay. So Aubrey and I are in agreement that we think that leopard's gone to fetch cubs, possibly, and left the kill that side. So fingers crossed. So there's a possibility we might not see any sign of them this morning on the sunrise safari, but there's a really good chance on the sunset safari if hyenas or Tingana don't find that kill during the day. So we're chatting about parental duties in animals. So, and as I was saying, the same pretty much works for lions. So the male lions don't have a real active role in rearing the cubs, but their role is to protect the area that the cubs grow up in. Oh, hello. Some elephants. Yes, you're very scary. So elephants is another one. The females will take a much more active role in rearing the young than the males. The males just mate and move out. So you heard a bunch of beeps. It was just us putting on that little virtual reality rig on the front of the vehicle. So I'm just going to clap quickly. Say when, Jandre. Jandre is making me hold my hands in the air for fun. At least I get to wiggle them warm.
And wiggle away. One more louder.
Okay, so with a nice breeding herd of elephant, it also gives us a chance to sit quietly, and we might, oh yes, look at that head shake. We might get a chance to hear some alarm calls while we're sitting here. So at the moment, most of the elephants are off to our left, and it looks like quite a few of them are about to come through. So if we sit quietly here, we should get engulfed. This little creature over here might come quite close to the vehicle. These young ones tend to become a little bit curious sometimes. You can see at the moment, far more interested in feeding though. Oh, there we go. Yes, you're very big and scary. This is very typical young elephant behavior, and that's more curious than anything else. Look, this isn't this exquisite. Hey, little one. Yes, we're very scared of you. So far, it's not displaying any aggression, more curiosity. See, there we go. And, well, I thought it was going to give a head shake, but decided there was something to eat. Here it comes. Yes. Silly, 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 silly. And now I'm just going to eat that bush willow. So there are some more coming. Oh! Naughty!
I'm going to have to stop the and start again. One is cut out.
Did it get it throwing the thing at us? Naughty elephant! How dare you throw a branch at me?
Clap for us again.
Did you see that? That naughty little elephant threw a branch at us. There we go. So it's a juvenile. It's about 8.
Sorry, Brian. One cut out.
Oh, it seems like we're having some technical difficulties with the VR rig. There must be really small gremlins to climb inside that one. Sorry about this, guys.
Go for it.
Okay. So it's a very cute little Eddie. Yeah, a little bit cheeky. Threw a little branch at us just now, and likes to shake its head, kick some dust in our general direction. Probably about 8, 9 years old. There we go. It's gonna. Wonderful displaying. That display was twofold. It also gave it a chance to get to any plants that might be underneath that fallen branch. The rest of the herd coming through. There's a nice young bull coming now on the other side. Look at that, standing on the... So this is all very much displaying just for us.
We have to cut one again.
how using its foot there. Now, not really feeding, as I said, it's far more displaying for us at the moment. Oh, got a nice little bush from under there as well. Here comes...
Let's clap again. Sorry.
Sorry about this, guys. There we go. Oh, are we going to get another little... How you doing? You can see the rest of the herd moving off behind this little Ellie, who's right next to us. Oh, hello, Mom. Hello, Mom. It's okay. It's okay. No need to be upset. There we go. Good girl. So you can see her there. She's not 100% comfortable. You see her ears are out like that. But we are getting a lot of elephants that aren't used to vehicles at the moment, that have moved in from the western areas of the Kruger National Park due to the water in the Sabi Sands. So we're just always a little bit cautious. And you can see that female wasn't 100% relaxed, so we're not going to continue on with this herd. She's still watching us very carefully. I've got to watch the elephant. And just the way she's behaving makes me not want to take her eyes off her. She did look like she was about to sneak around. Okay, she's calmed down now. So, yeah, see, sometimes Eddies do this and they like to charge you from behind. That's why I'm watching her very carefully. But if we moved right now, it could actually become a problem. She might chase the vehicle. So I'm trying to keep still. And she's being very naughty. I know elephants that do this and then chase the vehicle from behind. Just keeping an extra eye on her. Okay, now she's got her back to us. We're going to take that opportunity to move out of here. I'm just going to keep my eyes on her while we're going out. Alright, all fine. So, again, just that little bit of behavior, and that was a little bit extra. She seemed just a little bit too upset too quickly with nothing happening. So, don't want to put any more pressure on that herd. We had a lovely view of the little one playing with us, so we just decided to leave. Okay, I just need to check what was happening while my radio was down. Klambiven Glove, Philemon's Cutline Junction Zoes. Okay, so we're now looking to see if there's either leopard tracks coming in or out. Either or could be positive. Okay, so this is the southern edge of our traverse area. So what we're looking for is leopard tracks either going in or out. Oh, the next morning meeting. Even the man from the Free State's cold today.
Got 2 jackets on.
2 jackets. How are you, Pete?
Lekker en you?
Nice to see you.
Mooi man.
Anything in the west?
Skanka's going to cross shortly.
Oh, really?
Okay, half month's drift, so it might be closer to Shelly side.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not stressed. Alright, cool.
You better go.
I'm looking, we've got alarm calls in this area, so we're just checking around. Jamie's already on her way there.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Hello. Right,
Oh, there's some serious traffic jams going on here. There's about 5 vehicles.
There's Manning and Glover down this side.
Cool.
So
Enjoy, guys. Yeah, enjoy. Good luck.
Bye.
There's a serious traffic jam. We've got about 6 vehicles. This is Elvis. Morning, Elvis. Hi, Elvis. Oh, we're out of here. I'm done with traffic. I don't like traffic. Let's just go through the bush. No, I'm joking. We'll stick to the road. But we are looping around. So there's a report of a cheetah that all those vehicles are rushing to. But it is unfortunately outside of our Travis zone. So we're not going to rush. We're going to keep working this area for leopard.
I left with my father and Gala. Back to the coyote.
There we go. Update from Andrew. He's with that Nkahuma lioness who's got those 3 wonderful little cubs on Torchwood when she's denning, and it sounds like she's heading back towards that den now. I can't wait for those cubs to get a little bit bigger and start meandering across onto Djuma. So, good morning, Davina in Illinois. So, Davina's wondering about this thing. Let's wait, there we go, that thing that I was clapping at. It's called a virtual reality rig, I think. John Ray will explain better than I can, but I will try. So, basically, it's a ball of GoPros. So, it shoots a 360-degree video. And if you have a smartphone or tablet or, what's it called, John Ray? Oculus Rift. See, I can use technical terms too. You are able to have a 360-degree view around you. So we've got one out already. It's called, I think, the Naughty Elephant. And if you search on YouTube on the Safari Live channel, I think, or one of it, I don't know. I'm not very good at this stuff. I probably should get a bit better. So no, I think it's on the Safari Live account. And look up the Naughty Elephant, and if you've got a device like this, you can look what's in the sky, you can look what's behind you, and swing it around. So definitely worth having a look. We're trying to make a few more of those, so that's why I was clapping at the ball of GoPros, Davina. Okay, so as I was going to say, no sign of any tracks. I think I spotted a baboon track. But, and more elephants. In some thickets here. Hey, little mister. But unfortunately they aren't quite, not the best area to view. And let's leave this little group of elephants. They're still across our southern boundary, and see what else we can find. I'm going to do another loop through this area. I might head back to where that carcass is so we can have a quick look at it. You don't want to spend too much time around the carcass when an animal's not there, but in this area normally not too much of a problem during the day. We don't do it at night if it's on the ground. Oh, elephants everywhere. Some little babies just back here. How's that, John Ray? Oh, to you too. Watch out, little baby, you'll get a tree on your head. There you go, why thank you. Opening up a nice window for us to look at her by pushing down that tree in front of her. Wow, there are so many elephants around at the moment. I'm guessing... Oh, there's the little one popping through. I'm guessing in this group, which is probably connected to that group we've just seen, I'm going to guess there's probably 100 plus elephants in this area at the moment. Oh, look at that. Balancing its foot on a dead stick there. Playing with a single piece of grass. All it managed to pick up with its not too coordinated trunk. Oh, dropped it. Let's find another one. So it takes elephants a little while to really master the use of that long nose of theirs. And you often watch the babies. Oh, he did well there. Well done, little man. Got some leaves. But at this age, they rely mostly on mother's milk. It's quite funny when they get frustrated with their trunks and they can't make it do what they want it to do. They start shaking their heads at their own noses. Okay, all the others behind, breaking branches. Oh, there's an even smaller baby popping out. Back to the same little branch it was arguing with earlier. There's a nice big female quite close to us up front, and she's just lifted a whole dead tree to get to the grass that's growing underneath. And what's going to surprise you about this grass, if we have a look, there's some of it there, but the long grass underneath, it's all green. Isn't that incredible? In this drought, there is green grass. And there's a reason for this. We're on the top end of a seep line, so there's underground water that moves through here, and that's what she's taking advantage of there. Hey, big lady. Aren't you a clever one? There we go. You can see she's moved this big thorny thing here, and that was keeping the grass protected from other animals. So she's moved it out of the way to get to this last bit of green panicum. Look at that. There we go. Nice green panicum grass. Whoop. Quick dust off. And down the gullet. Oh. Looks like she didn't dust that one off fast enough. Putting her head right into the thorns. Listen to that. So Sandy's wondering whether elephants will eat berries too, not just leaves and grass. Most definitely, Sandy, but not too many berries around at this time of the year. Exhausted the grass now. Looks like she was thinking about eating some buffalo thorn. I think she might find a bit more. searching for that nice juicy bit of grass. So, Justin in Idaho is wondering, why do elephants push down trees? Is it for entertainment, or is it to get to the other leaves? It is for feeding, it's not for entertainment. Sometimes you might find a bull and might move around and play a bit with the tree, but to push it down will generally be for feeding. Watch this. See how she's moving that thorny thing to get to the green stuff underneath. And she's found a wild asparagus. And down the gullet the wild asparagus went. Oh, she found another bigger wild asparagus. Oh, yes. Shake your head. Very normal elephant behavior. Well, she's going to move off. I'm going to do the same and keep searching for whatever. Oh, I know, just impala. Those kudu might have been alarming at. So, Jean-Ray, eyes up, let's find a kitty cat. Now, when I'm in this area, I'm always keeping an eye out for Nelson. That's not Nelson, but a male impala. If you're an impala, you have to be alert because lots of different things want to eat you. But he's got a bit of help at the moment, and just off to the right in the dead tree there is an oxpecker who's warming himself before probably going to get onto that impala to feed. And they do work as early warning systems for a lot of the animals and will alarm call if they see a predator. And two, an adult and a juvenile.